This training is on how to send emails to your club members and officers through HawkNest. HawkNest is a great tool for communicating with your club without having to use an outside email management system or keep track of email addresses. First thing you're going to do is go to your club officer dashboard and you're going to look for the orange box that says emails. You're going to click on emails, and if you have previously sent emails, they will show up here. We're using Creative Writing Club because they did a great job of using the email builder last year to send emails to their participants and their members. And then you can also see here as well that you can track how many people opened emails that you sent. So you can send reminders, you can send updates, you can send documents, whatever. First thing you're going to do to create a new email is click Compose Email. If you've already created an email, you can also click to duplicate something, and that duplicates any kind of previous setup that you have created. You will first get to recipients. You can click to send it to all of your members, or you can click to only send it to officers, to certain people who are registered differently, to faculty and staff, or you can click to send to your contacts, which are those past members or people who are listed as contacts who maybe aren't as active in your club or who have just come to an event, but they're not part of your club. You can also create member tags. There's some training in there when looking at members in the regular training for managing your HawkNest profile. If you create member tags, for example, people who want to join the club or people who are interested in whatever certain topic, then you can select to email people who have that tag assigned to them as well. For now, we're just going to do all members because we're sending out a general email to our club. You have two options for creating an email. Email Composer looks just like a regular email template like you would open in Google. Very typical email, although you can also create some columns. This is kind of some set templates that you can use. If you choose this regular one, double check all of your recipients. You can choose a specific from address, add in your subject. If you want to add an attachment, you can do that here. And then you're going to type in your email content. A really cool thing that you can do as well through HawkNest is add click boxes to your messages. So you can link directly to any surveys or forms or upcoming events that you have. Notice right here it says you have 0 of either, but if you have an event coming up that you want to link at the bottom of your page, you just click the checkbox here and it will link that event, or you can check the click the checkbox for any form that you want someone to fill out, etc. You can also schedule the delivery for your email for a specific time instead of sending it right away. Once you've created your email, you need to click on preview it first. You can look over it, make sure it's edited, and then click save and send, and it will send your email. If you want to check it first, you can click send myself a test email, and you will get a test email to make sure that everything looks good before you send it to everyone. We're going to go back to the email builder. Select our members again, click compose email, and we're going to select email builder. So this is more similar to creating a newsletter, something that you might be able to create through MailChimp or something like that, that is a little more visually pleasing. So all of our recipients are selected, and then we also can copy or blind copy someone. Once we have that, we're going to click the next button that's at the very bottom right corner. We're going to add our subject of our sentence. Whatever our email is going to be, we add the subject of the email here. We can select who it's from, and we have the option to add attachments. Click next, and then we can choose an email template. So far we're seeing things similar to before. We can also create our own template as well. So let's say we want some columns like this. It's going to come to a drag and drop email builder. It starts off blank, and so you just drag and drop. We want to start off with a title and some text, probably. Sorry, it didn't load the first time. There we go. It starts off looking like this with just generic headers. So you can add an image at the top, or you can create an image that's got your club name or club name newsletter at the top. You can add images on the side and drag and drop things where you want it. So if we want an image down here, we can add another image. We can upload a photo for that image. Let's say we're doing GlowFest. Save that. And then if there's a link that you want it to go to, remember alternative text is very useful for screen readers so that people can read what's in the graphic. So it's great to include alternative text that includes the information that is in the graphic for accessibility reasons. Once you click save, then your image should appear in that section. Ta-da. For the headers, we just click on Edit Widget anytime you want to edit any of these boxes. And you put your new title here, and then you write your updates here. You've got the HTML options here, so you can bold, underline, add links, add photos. If you know HTML, you can even add a source code here. One of the things that I like to use is a divider. So if I'm doing a newsletter, I like to add lots of different pieces. So you can get rid of things easily. Let's add more text here. I made my text really short, so now it's kind of like a little bit trickier to get things to line up. Oh, table of contents. So we can do table of contents. That's going to be useful if you have a long newsletter. We'll come back to that a little bit later. Let's say we want to add a divider below. There we go. Add the divider below. So you've got a dividing line. So there are lots of different options of things that you can add. You can add your social links. You can add a video or code. You can add a list of your officers. So if it's a new email at the beginning of the year welcoming everyone, you can add your officers in there to make sure everyone knows who it is. You can add a button that people can click on to go to another link. You can also add events. So if we add events in, it will pull in upcoming events that we have as well. So you would just click on select events. And then from your group's events or from other events, you can select an event, insert selected events, and those events will show up in your email like this. So people can see a list of what's upcoming and easily click on the link to see the full event information. I'm going to add a couple other boxes here so that we can look at our table of contents. Okay, our table of contents is an easy way to link down to other pieces that are in our newsletter, especially if you have a long one. So to do the table of contents, there's a couple of things you have to do first. So the first thing that you have to do is create anchors. So you want to create an anchor at each article or picture that you want to link to. So let's call this an anchor, and we're going to name this title just because that's what we have up there. And then this anchor is going to be GlowFest because we're advertising that event. This anchor will be upcoming events. And this anchor will be, whatever title we have here. Right now it just says header. So once you create your different sections as anchors, you can go to your table of contents widget and you can select content areas that you want to include in your widget. It will pull up everything that you have marked with an anchor. So if you want to include those in your table of contents, you just click the checkboxes and click Insert Selected Anchors, and it will create a table of contents. That way, if you click on title, it will scroll down to that section and then click Save. There's a lot of different things that you can do here. You can change colors, do a lot of editing. make different banners, pull in different images. You can get very creative with this. You can also save something as a template. So if you've created something that you really like, that you think you're going to use over and over, for example, a regular newsletter, then you can save it as a template and you can revisit that template and update the information each time you send a newsletter. Once you're done building your email, you're going to click Next. It asks you if you want to add those check boxes, or sorry, those click boxes that we had earlier to select certain forms or events that we want to add to the bottom. And then for next, it's delivery. We can schedule a specific date and we can preview it first, send ourselves a test email, save as a draft, or save it and go ahead and send it. So once you click one of those, it will send it. Right now, I'm going to go back to emails so we can look at some past emails that this club has sent. So you can see first day of club, some announcements about events that are coming up, end of term events, updates on a meeting, a general end of year information. So if you click on it, you can see who opened it and who clicked on it. And you can see stats. You can view the email if you want to look back at that email. So you can see their general email. They put a picture in there. They use the bold to make things stand out easily. And then if they want to send an email very similar to that, they can just click duplicate. All of your emails will be here. So this is the advantage of using HawkNest for sending your club emails instead of some other organization such as MailChimp, or instead of just using your personal email, because then all of the emails that you have sent are recorded here and you get those statistics on who has opened it and how many people have opened your emails. And then you can copy things as well. If you look over on the left-hand menu, you've got a whole list of emails that are sent, emails that are scheduled to be sent, drafts, templates, tracking, delivery status, etc. That's an overview of emails. If you have more specific questions on how to send emails or how to build emails in the template builder, please contact Jess Haywood. I'd be happy to show you how to do those things one-on-one.